What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and this video is a few days late, but it's an important topic to cover, and that is the deplatforming and basically laser-focused targeting of specific channels on YouTube for banning. Now, actually, there's going to be two videos today because it just happened to another YouTuber for a little bit slightly different reason, but the same outcome. About a week ago, well, last Friday, I believe it was, an article on the Wall Street Journal dropped about certain channels' usage of super chats, and this channel in particular was the Ralph Retort, and the show is called The Kill Stream. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I often interact with their fandom, antagonize them. They antagonize me. It's no hard feelings on my end. But behind the scenes, I've interacted, full disclosure, with Ethan Ralph, for, I don't know, a couple of months. I would say we have what is best described as a cordial business relationship. Now, I don't know how he feels about me or speaks about me behind closed doors with other people. It's not really relevant, but it is relevant that I say, hey, look, I know who the guy is. I've appeared on his show before, mostly to whip up his fandom. We have kind of a good-natured ribbing back and forth. But the article itself, and this is going to be hard to read because it's behind a paywall, but I can read it on my end, even if it doesn't necessarily come through on yours. But we have hate speech on live super chats tests YouTube. And what this is the continued targeting of, I would say, edgy YouTube channels. I don't think Ethan or guys like JF would necessarily say that's inaccurate. I do know that JF used to have a show with Andy Worski. I don't really follow his show now, but from what I know, he in general does censor some things on his channel, and he does ban some people from his channel, and based around these types of things, the types of super chats and comments that get made. And perhaps looking back, it is a smart decision because, as far as I know, he's still on YouTube, even though he's the face of this article. After Robert Bowers stormed Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, October 27th, far-right personality Ethan Ralph launched a live stream on YouTube to discuss the shooting that claimed 11 lives. So if you'll notice, every time something like this happens, they try to tie it to YouTubers. I don't know in specific what Ethan Ralph's particular personal politics are, but I wouldn't say he's far right. Maybe has some opinions to the right and probably has some opinions to the left, like most people. However, he's categorized that way, whether he likes it or not. Soon, some viewers started paying to have their comments featured on the live show, scrolling alongside the streaming video. Their feature YouTube launched last year called Super Chats. During the live stream, since deleted, one user paid £2 to write, "How you get a Jewish girl's number? Roll up her sleeve." Another viewer paid $5 and wrote, "If you want to know if it's a false flag, then check out Lucky Larry's life insurance policies." I mean, okay, they are pretty edgy. But in the realm of, terrible things someone can say, I think it's far from that. They're not promoting violence. They're not making any personal attacks. These are edgy boy comments. Now, the trouble runs in is when somebody who does a super chat, right, or pays to have some service as a comment on YouTube, what the Wall Street Journal, I think, is disingenuously doing here is just assuming that's exactly what that person believes, and that, they couldn't possibly be making a joke. This is the removal of context to push your ideology, to get done what you want to do here, and that is to deplatform Ethan Ralph. Mr. Ralph, whose channel has 22,500 subscribers, is one of several far-right YouTube celebrities who have used Super Chat feature to make money. Look, everybody who live streams really is appreciative of Super Chats, especially if you're in the commentary space or something like that, where CPMs aren't exactly, you're not always producing family-friendly content, and it's just a great way to fund your channel. Topics among such users can be wide-ranging, from events like the tragedy in Pittsburgh to confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh to critiques of the media and internal debates among members of the far-right online communities. Again, to say that everybody that watches the kill stream is far-right is disingenuous. One, you couldn't even know that. And two, I mean, I watch it and I don't consider myself far-right. I don't even consider myself all that right at all. Most Super Chats generate a few $100s in revenue, according to an analysis conducted by the Wall Street Journal, with YouTube typically collecting 30%. People familiar with the matter said. The spokeswoman for YouTube, owned by Alphabet Inc., Google, said the company donates to charity the proceeds from any Super Chats that violate a hate speech policy. This came out in the Alternative Influencer report. Essentially, if a Super Chat is deemed not worthy, YouTube still takes the money and donates it to a charity, which to me seems really sketchy. And I'm not sure how, as a creator, you can even track this, or you can be notified of this. I've never received any notification that this has happened, but I would assume some have. And this also brings to light a very real issue now of weaponizing Super Chats. I saw basically last night people, when I had too many drinks and decided to fire up a late night Super Chat or live stream and antagonize people, I was getting anti-Semitic Super Chats, and then those same people were posting screenshots that they were reporting their own Super Chats. This is something I talked about when the whole thing dropped, that now people can weaponize Super Chats, and that's really unfortunate. I mean, I'm not sure how YouTube will really take this into account. I'm pretty confident that, this won't be a big deal for my channel, but you just never know. I mean, how many is too many? How many is it going to take? And what exactly does YouTube define as hate speech? Nobody ever really knows. Super Chat launched last year, blah, blah, blah. While the Super Chat function is available on YouTube's vast cast of video celebrities, it was made primarily to appeal to gamers. I don't know how you could know that either. It hasn't gained the same traction scale among these groups as it has with the far-right crowd, according to an analysis by Storyful, a social media intelligence firm that is owned by News Corp, the journal's parent company. Okay, quoting yourself. Racist comments are not uncommon. Just as troubling, according to researchers, are comments that stay within YouTube's guidelines to avoid getting taken down through the coded language placed on hot-button topics and slurs. For instance, some commenters use the term basketball American when referring to conspiracies about white genocide. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Against African Americans, and population replacement when referring to conspiracies about white genocide. Now, again, you can't really know, what somebody's intention was. I'm sure the overwhelming majority of these people are just making what they believe to be jokes. And what this article boils down to is that Wall Street Journal doesn't think it's funny. They don't like that Ethan Ralph is making money from this, and so they wrote this hit piece. And what happened next is truly absurd. That one day, Ethan Ralph did a live stream and raised nearly $27,000 for St. Jude. I believe that's the number, just under $27,000. And the Wall Street Journal was able to get St. Jude to refund that money. Now, in the grand scheme of things, $27,000 seems like a lot of money to us. It is a lot of money, but probably not to a multi-$100 billion fundraising company who probably got an email that said something like this: "Hey, this is so and so from the Wall Street Journal. Would you like to speak to how hate speech is funding your charity?" And they probably just said, can't do it. Don't want it. Refund the money. Which is kind of a slap in the face to the people that donated this money. Now, people were refunded that money, which I guess is good. It's not like YouTube just took their money and sent it to another channel, or another charity. But this does raise the question, what happened next is basically once this article dropped, or earlier in that day, Ethan Ralph's channel was banned. I highly doubt he will ever get it back. I believe his co-host's channel was also banned. It was a channel that he would often pop over to if he was dealing with strikes. And the thing is, Ralph also deals with copyright strikes or community guideline strikes as well. This is something that is an issue. It's able to be exploited way too easily, and it can cost YouTubers a lot of revenue if they can't live stream, especially in this space. So he ended up getting his YouTube banned, his super chats canceled or removed, and also Streamlabs banned him. Right now, I'm going to leave a link to where he is streaming. He streams on stream.me and DLive, I believe now, and he also has a Patreon, which I'll link in the description below. Now, just because you don't think something's a joke, just because you might not like what somebody's saying, is not really grounds to say it isn't a joke. This is the same sort of argument that people used against Count Dankula with his dog trick. What we're seeing now is the mainstream media is, instead of doing the scattershot type reporting, which they did the first time during the first adpocalypse, now we're seeing a more pointed attack. Anytime a channel gets too big, they're going to start looking into it. And the unfortunate thing for Ralph is, I have never, in probably pages and pages and pages of DMs, and we've had a couple of calls, never, ever, ever once heard him use this type of language. Never really heard him even vocally agree. He says, "I disavow so much" on his show. It's basically a meme. So where's the line? I mean, how is this any different than a talk show host bringing on some crazy racist person? As the Wall Street Journal writing articles about who's on Jerry Springer, although I guess I don't really know what talk shows even exist anymore, but you get the idea. Why not, instead of banning the person, why not just take the ability, allow super chats, but take away the ability for people to fill in text? Seems like a much easier win-win solution. It basically solves the using super chats, using hate speech to fund anything, because they won't be able to put articles in. The channel can still exist and adhere to the exact same rules and restrictions any other channel did. As far as I know, Ethan hadn't faced a lot of community guideline strikes here and there when maybe he got a little too spicy, but he should have to live under the same rules anyone else does. He shouldn't be able to just be yeeted off the internet just because the Wall Street Journal writes one single article. And it's unfortunate because this is going to follow him around. He's on Patreon now, but all anyone has to do now is just send this to Patreon. Patreon's going to ban him. And he's going to have to be chasing around. I mean, I got banned off Patreon, and people use that. I've been banned from Gen Con, and now people will just use that to make it much easier to get me banned from any new platform. Now, maybe this will be, at least publicly, Ralph has been pretty optimistic about going over to DLive and Stream Me. Certainly, this is going to be a huge revenue hit for him, I would assume, unless his audience really backed him on Patreon, which, I hope they do. And it's important to remember that, look, the Ralphugees aren't going anywhere. Just because you ban a platform, right? You remove a platform, that doesn't change people's opinion. Those people don't go away. They just move around. So they'll go on Worski's show, or they'll go over to Tonka's show, or they'll go on us. I mean, these people aren't going to go away. So either you ban all the platforms, which sadly I'm willing to bet is the likelihood they're just going to continue to play whack-a-mole and ban these channels, or you remove super chats for everybody, which would be devastating for a lot of content creators, and it puts people in a weird spot. That's why I don't think you see a lot of people speaking out, shooting videos, covering this story, because people are afraid to be associated with it. And I saw firsthand how super chats can be weaponized against you, and you're really powerless to do anything about it. So, Ralph, I wish you the best. I'll probably stay away from antagonizing your fandom for a little while. Got my hand caught in the cookie jar last night, but I wish you the best, dude. And this is a really unfortunate situation, and I don't see it getting really any better for anyone.